Run.
All right. We're in on our call, but I'm gonna step out.
You are the only person currently in the
Get on
conference.
this call and everything, but I'm gonna let Commissioner Ward start the meeting for us. We're gonna open 2 meetings this morning. A regular scheduled Commissioners
You
Court
are the
meeting
only person
and a
currently
PFC
in the
meeting
conference.
this morning, okay? We'll recess the PFC meeting and do our regular Commissioners Court meeting. Morning, Mr. Griffith. But let me go get on this.
Good morning, everyone. Good to see you this morning, and we have an agenda of the Kinney County Commissioners Court for regular meetings this morning. The time is 9:01 a.m. And Richard, we do have a full quorum present, so we'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. And the first item is the invocation and pledge. If you'll all stand. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day you've given us, for the lives that we have, and how you bless us every day. Lord, we thank you for the rains that you have sent. We ask that you just continue to send them in abundance, that all of our springs and creeks and wells will be restored, and we'll give you thanksgiving. Lord, we ask our blessings on our nation, on our state, our county. Lord, that our eyes will be focused upon you. And that you would guide and direct us and grant us wisdom for this day. For it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will also, as mentioned previously, we have a notice of the Kinney County Public Facility Corporation Board of Directors meeting, and it will take place in conjunction with our Kinney County Commissioner this morning. So we do call your attention to that and call that meeting session as well. And we will, after completing our Commissioner's Court agenda, move to it and take care of the business that is posted on that particular agenda. So we'll move along to item number 3, which is the Kinney County Agent Report. We do have our county agent with us. Did you have anything to add to it?
Nothing to add, just kind of keep tabs on the screen.
Yeah, I'm going. Thank you. Kinney County Aging Center.
There's a report in the paper.
Kinney County Attorney.
Nothing this morning.
I'm over here. Where you are? Where are you?
I shall.
All right, moving to the Kinney County Auditor, we do have a report that is available this morning. For those in attendance this morning, this is a recap of our budget and expenditures made for the month, and then it has the year-to-date totals for each department. And so that's what we go over at this time. Any question or comment on the financial report from the county audit? Okay, we'll move on to Kinney County Clerk. Kinney County Community Center. Any report from that area? No. Kinney County Council. All is well. All is well. That's always good. Kinney County Detention Center. Operation financial procedure. Good morning.
Good morning, Lord. So our ADP is 420 and our current count is 418.
If all systems go out there, it's really working. Any questions you have? More?
420.
418. Thank you very much. Kinney County EMC. And Kinney County EMS, you do have a. Come on up, Nathan.
Good morning. So we have our monthly report for May. We had a total of 37 calls. 11 of those were non-transports. We transported 26 of them. We went to Uvalde 6 times, Valverde 20. And I made a note on there. We did have 4 border-related calls last month. That's the first time we've had a border-related call in 6 months at least, if not longer. In other news, the shop in Del Rio finally got the airbag for Medic 1. Should start working on it either later today or tomorrow. So hopefully we have it back mid to late next week, or mid to late this week. That's all I got to report on my end. Any questions on anything? All right. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Nick. Kinney County grant updates. Good morning, Carl.
Good morning, everybody. Any questions on the document that you have that I turned in on the grants? 2 of the grants, or 1 of the grants was open. 1 grant was open, and that's the Stone Garden. The audit, that vendor hold is lifted because the audit was finally turned in. There was a fund hold still on the OLS grant. The Stone Garden amount that was turned in, total is, if I can see it, it's 63,546, I believe. Close, right? Since I can't see the numbers, but that is what was turned in last week on Stone Garden. That was approved by the governor's office. The school resource officer, we were not able to submit the FSR only because of a budget adjustment to place Caballo in there versus Copeland. And the adjustment went back and forth twice, but that one will be open to be able to be submitted this month. OLS, the last time we submitted anything on that was the end of October. Right now, the total amount that we probably, you all have probably paid out on OLS and not being reimbursed for is probably 1.4 million, over 1.4 million. On the 28th, we had a meeting with the Office of Compliance and Management and OG, Office of the Governor, and there were documents that needed to be uploaded. And I checked with Cheryl last week and she uploaded those documents. There was AP check registers, vendor report, and also check registers, accounts payable registers. So that was uploaded. There are approximately 18 documents that she uploaded. And she emailed me Friday and said she had a team's meeting with the OCM, Office of Compliance and Management, on Thursday, and they were reviewing. The issue is they can't take what we have because of the software being so old to convert it into a general ledger. However, we were able to upload accounts payable registers check registers. They're reviewing that to see if that can be used in place of the other. If that happens, if they approve that, hopefully it'll be early this week, then the financial status report can be submitted for OLS. All of the personnel have been added to the correct forms. I've added those from November through the end of April. We would have to add May and June to that list. And then all of that would be uploaded. In the meeting we had on the 14th of May, we haven't had a meeting in January and one in 14 May to see where else we could move money, what categories we could move money from to move it into the OLS housing, because we were short on that in the first place. And at that time, we had 453,000 in there for OLS housing. We have used 464,000 since 1st of September through the end of April. And I submitted a budget adjustment last week to increase that category to $725,258.56. The transportation, there was 90 in that category. We had used over 62,000, so 50,000 was added to that category. And when I say added, we don't move that money. We submit the budget adjustment, and the governor's office is the one that approves moving that money. Where that money was moved from, or requested to be moved from, were unused salaries, unused interpreter categories, court categories, equipment. There were several categories like that where there's money that was just not being used, so we're able to move that money around. But I think that you'll be all right with that, because from 270 or 725 down to 464, and you have May, June, July, and August until this grant closes. And then Friday, the new Stone Garden grant opened, which means from 1 March through the end of February of next year, that grant is now available. Any other questions? Oh, I would like to introduce Anita, if you could stand up. Anita Kennedy is my replacement. She started today, so I will be here in the courthouse with her for the next 7 weeks, and then a few hours every week for a while. I don't know how long, until she takes it all over and stays out. Hopefully, the sheriff told me I was sentenced to this job.
I told her 25 to life.
That's what he told me. So anyway, she'll be good. We will be working in the same office upstairs here as Emily Santolano. But I think she's going to be good. She's all excited about it, and I'll be in here teaching her and training her for the next 7 weeks on what all to do. So if you have any questions, same number, same everything, same email, everything stays the same. Any other questions?
Thank you so much.
Are you welcome?
And welcome to Mrs. Kennedy. All right. Any other grant updates at this point? All right. Kinney County Indigent Healthcare. Got a report on that particular item as well. Any question or comment on the indigent healthcare report? Okay, then we move to the next item, which is Kinney County Justice Report. We'll save that one for him. Kinney County Justice of the Peace. Kinney County Library. Kinney County Road and Bridge, we do have a report. Any question or comment on the road and bridge? And we'll move on to, Kinney County Sheriff.
Good morning. Not a whole lot going on. It's been fairly quiet. Currently, we have 30 in jail, all 30 are felons. Of those, 23 are OLS apprehensions and 22 related to smuggling. Currently, we only have 8 in Medina County, so that's starting to come down a little bit, but I'm expecting to see a spike this month and next month because it's summer, people will be traveling, people will want to be there. Other than that, everything's nice and quiet. Questions, comments?
You got all the dispatchers you need? No, still looking.
Still have great. Sylvia's not doing well. But I had the paper probably this week, see if we get the vacancies filled.
Any question or comment, sir? Kinney County Tax Assessor. Kinney County Treasurer. There is a. Any question or comment on that? If there be none, we'll move on to item A, which is the county auditor's department expense sheet.
Those are the reports that.
Any question or comment on the county auditor's department expense sheet? Okay, there be none, we'll move to, we've gotten the EMS monthly report. So we'll move to the Kinney County Sheriff's Office LE grant report, which I believe we've covered that. The indigent healthcare. That takes EMF as well. Item number 4 on the second page. Item A, item 4A is to canvass the election runoff results. Ricky?
Morning, gentlemen. So this is going to be the results of the May 26th runoff election. And I'll start with the Democrat. There was only 2 parties on that one. Lieutenant Governor, it was going to be Marcos Isaias Velez for 12 and Vicky Ann Goodwin for 13. The next one was going to be the Attorney General, Joseph Sullivan Jarosky for 12 and Nathan Matthew Johnson for 11. Now for the Republicans, U.S. Senator John Cornyn, 104. Warren Kenneth Paxton Jr., 203. Attorney General David Mays Middleton II, 128. Charles Eugene Roy, 166. Railroad Commissioner Richard West French, 148. James Wright, 139. Judge Criminal Court of Appeals, Place 3, Allison Fox Dahlberg, 126. Thomas Cole Smith, 133. State Senator, District 19, Marcus Cardenas, 117, and Robert Carl Marks Jr., 141. Any questions?
Questions, comments?
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
This is a discussion item only, so, item number B. Discuss, approve, disapprove, reinstating a countywide permit. Remember, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we lifted the burn ban and, so up for consideration is whether to activate that again or not. Pretty well. Yeah, right. You comfortable with going on another 2 weeks with it lifted?
I think we go another 2 weeks.
I entertain a motion then to,
We'll move. Delay the bird back another 2 weeks.
motion made and seconded to approve the continuation of the lifting of burn ban, for 2 more weeks. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And motion carries without opposition. Now, Judge Roman, 4C,
All right. Let the record reflect.
you're saving your report for you.
Okay. All right. Let reflect, note that I came back into the meeting at 9:25. 4C this morning is going to be discuss, approve, or disapprove a motion to make a budget amendment for the 25-26 fiscal year to move $500 from line 010-5-2502-1001 Parks and Recreation Equipment to same Parks and Recreation, but line number 0505 Parks and Recreation Supplies for the purchase of pool facility supplies. Entertain a motion for approve or disapprove or discuss it, whatever you want to do. So moved by Commissioner Barrett, second by Commissioner Matavo. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. 4D this morning is to discuss and approve, disapprove a motion to make a budget amendment for the 25-26 fiscal year to move $1,000 from line number 010-5-2650-0270 library supplies, library office supplies to same department, but it'd be line number -0500 library equipment purchase for the purchase of a new desk to support workspace needs. That's item 4D this morning. I'll entertain a motion or discussion on that one. So moved by Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Dotson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Item 4E this morning is discuss, approve, or ratify the declaration of local emergency in Kinney County related to the threat of the potential impact of the new screwworm. As you know, I declared a state of emergency last week. We did vote to in place the declaration of emergency on Friday's meeting, but we had it on this meeting to also for this morning. So this morning we'll ratify our vote, whatnot, from Friday to the day And by voting into Commissioner report now, instead of it being every 7 days for the judge to declare and continue the disaster will be in place until we remove it as a court. So that's why we're doing that this morning. So entertain a motion to approve the local emergency, state of emergency for Kinney County is related to the threat and potential impact of the new world screwworm. So moved by Commissioner Dotson, seconded by Commissioner Ward. All right, you want to discuss this one a little bit?
What you find out?
Nothing. So, but the government's here to help. Over the weekend, the two cases that we had going into the weekend, or the first case was in a calf, just east of La Pryor. They set up a quarantine zone around that area, and then another report came in about 3 or 4 days later, a confirmed case about 5.6 miles from the first case there in Zavala County. So the zone kind of catches, it's 12 miles around La Pryor, and then it's got a surveillance zone around that as well. So it catches Zavala County and a little bit of Uvalde County. Now, fly drops and things like that, they're getting the 100 million flies out of Panama. If they're dispersing them in the air, they're actually dropping flies. And if they're doing ground dispersals now, they have, which we all did that too back in the 70s and so forth. But the airdrops are not the little boxes anymore. They're actually just speeding them out, kind of like a leaf blower style deal. So they're just dispersing them like that. So you're not going to see the boxes per se. And then the ground dispersal boxes they actually have an apparatus that they're putting on the ground, and they're bringing the fly in in a larva stage, real cold, in a cold environment. So it's still in the larva stage, and then transporting it around in refrigeration, and then putting those refrigerated larvae in that ground release box dispersal. And as they warm up and stuff and thaw out and complete their larval cycle, then they're releasing themselves out of the ground release deals. We get about, last week, we were getting about 20% of the flies over here in Texas and 80% of those flies in northern Mexico and stuff. So that still remains kind of the same. USDA is in charge of all that and so forth. Animal Health Commission is just kind of boots on the ground and helping and stuff of that nature. Quarantine zones, you're quarantined all warm-blooded animals, dogs, your pets, your horses, whatever. If you want to move them, they have to have a visual inspection by the Animal Health Commission. No cuts, no lacerations or anything like that. And then on your cattle, I just learned that over the weekend you're going to have a 72-hour quarantine on your cattle to move your cattle. If it's killer cows, they're going to come and inspect them, and you can take them straight to the sale barn. I'm sure they'll be marked or identified to be sold. They can only be sold as killer cows or whatever, canner cows. But then your other livestock and stuff that's going to be moved or whatever or sold has to be visually inspected. They're going to force you to vaccinate them with whatever regimen you're using, whatever drug you're using, Exalt, Detramax, whatever the case may be. But then you're going to have a hold of 48 hours because that's usually that's their time of when that gets into the muscle tissue, that vaccine. And then another inspection. So, and then you can move them either out of the zone to another pasture. Say you've got another place somewhere where you can get away from the zone, or to the sale barn, or whatever the case may be. Those animals that are labeled, tagged, whatever, strictly slaughter purposes, like an old open cow or an old bull or something like that, canners and stuff or whatever, that they're not going to do that because of the withdrawal period. So those, there's a little variance there. Just yesterday, I visited. There is a command center post set up on 131 and 277. It's the little tan building right there that Maverick County had as their old EOC building when they moved it back into town or something. But right there, right before the intersection of 277 and 131, that's the command post. So I went down there yesterday to kind of visit with them and learn a little bit more about it. The text messages that were going around, folks on the ground, ranchers and so forth, was there's a case in LaSalle County, but it hadn't been confirmed. I asked, crickets, nothing. So I visited with the command and Dr. Dingus was there and Dr. Lansford was there, and they are the two top vets for this animal health commission. Last night about 10 o'clock, Judge Martinez from LaSalle County texted me. It was confirmed. There's a calf in LaSalle County around Ensenada that has it, relatively newborn calf. Okay. And then also confirmed as there's been a dog confirmed with it in Andrews County. And the story on the dog is the dog had recently been to Mexico and traveled, came back, with whoever owned it or whatever. So that's in Andrews County. Don't know where in Andrews at, but and that's the email that Animal Health sent out this morning was that LaSalle case in Andrews. So now that means we have 4 confirmed cases. And the questions I asked yesterday down at the command center was like, as it progresses inward, which it's already jumped, say it's 30 miles inward and stuff. Do we get more flies, or how's this going to work? Like USDA owns the fly. Okay, so like how's this going to work? How are we going to get, and production facilities are being built, but nothing's going to be producing flies until December. All right, and that's the place down in South Mexico. It's supposed to be producing 100 million flies by the end of the year. The big facility in Moore Airfield Base, the old facility down there in Edinburgh area, it won't be producing flies until 2028, and it won't be producing their maximum amount of flies of 300 million until probably 2029. So a lot of us judges and other folks have been, pounding on the table saying we can't wait that long. They're saying right now today we need 600 million flies. All right, it's treatable. Yes, if we could see our animals every day, which that's a hard thing for most of us, especially our livestock and our wildlife. But there are some preventive measures. There are some for lack of a better term, but there's some dope out there and stuff, some antibiotics or whatever, or not antibiotics, but vaccines that we can do. But most of them are on like a 21, 30-day period. So like every 21, 30 days, you'll have to retrain your livestock and give them another, either a 4-on or a shot or something like that. So that's kind of where that is on that. Iterate again, our food source is safe. This is not something that's going to get in your can of processed peas or beans or your salad bar at Oasis or something like that. The food supply may be becoming limited as it starts affecting more and more of the beef herd and so forth and things like that. That may damper beef prices may go up some more at the grocery store. So again, no castration of anything, no dehorning, no tail docks, no hot iron branding. Freeze branding, I feel like is probably still okay. But if you have a small herd of cows or something like that, or sheep and goats, dipping their little wet navels in iodine is a big help. Keeping you some kind of fly spray. I know D&D's been posting. They've got stuff to any kind of fly repellent. If humans are part of this, we could get them, but typically we don't. Our sanitary needs are well enough that we won't acquire it. Okay, but fishing, camping trips, or things like that, make sure you got a first aid kit and keep the wound clean. Keep you some kind of repellent on you. That's a fly repellent as well, especially if you're going to be overnight or something like that. So, any questions or anything? I mean, that's kind of where we are. I mean, There are no confirmed cases, and I know of nothing that's being looked at for Kinney County at this time. All right, so the extracting the larva, getting it in the vial of alcohol, calling the vet, calling the Animal Health Commission, a lot of that's been shared out there. They keep saying, well, refer to the internet, man, I got pretty belligerent with them down there at Eagle Pass. I said, look, that's not a valid answer for a lot of our folks. Okay. They're going to come to me and ask questions, or they're going to come to y'all to ask questions or something like that, or Dr. Davis or something like that, or Mr. Allen, that they're going to want to hear it, and stuff. So I say, quit saying, well, get on the internet, USDA, whatever, screwworm.gov. The Animal Health Commission does keep an active map posted of the quarantine zones. Traveling through a quarantine zone with animals, it's fine. You need to stop. There'll be livestock inspection stations set up. You'll have to stop and visit with them and for them to confer and confirm kind of sort of where the cattle or horses or whatever you're moving, wildlife, livestock, whatever the case may be. They'll want to visually inspect it in the trailer and stuff. Make sure there's no cuts. Remember, this thing has to have some kind of tear on the skin. There has to be, and it has to be a living animal. It looks like a maggot, be in that family and stuff. But if the animal's dead and been dead and stuff, and you see with maggots and stuff, those aren't screwworms. The screwworm has to have that blood flow. So that's where we are. Right now, the samples are going to be sent to Ames, Iowa, the USDA laboratory up there for confirmation. Animal Health can't say anything or do anything until USDA confirms it. Well, street talk on the street, travels way faster than USDA does. So a lot of our, text messaging we get and stuff, or people are texting me, like the LaSalle County yesterday. I called the judge. I said, hey, I'm getting word that you got something. Have you heard anything? He said, man, I ain't heard nothing. I haven't. I know nothing. I said, all right. About 10 o'clock last night, he texted me. That was there. So they're going to move. They're relocating the Ames, Iowa identification confirmation vet site facility to Kerrville. So hopefully that'll cut out about 24 hours to 36 hours of wait to get it confirmed. Also in Kerrville, there's a facility that the USDA just had a ribbon cutting deal on not very long ago called the Kipling Bushland facility. And it's working on a process to develop where they do have a batch of flies. They're all males. So right now, 100 million flies are being produced in Panama at the Copec facility. And only half of them, more or less, half of them are males, half of them are females. But when they go through the radiation process, they're all sterilized. The females get sterilized, the males get sterilized, but the males are still active. Thus, when they get released into the zones and stuff, they find the female flies that are there, and that's how the process is working for us. And that's the only known process. There's nothing been changed. We do have better technology today. We do have zones that we can set up. We have restriction of movement of cattle and stuff, but the flies here. So be vigilant. If you have livestock and stuff, kind of even your house dog, cat, your household pets, and stuff, pay attention with them. Any kind of little scratching or anything, ear mites or something where they might get a raw spot on their ear or something. It's just, they got to have that broken flesh to do their part, the fly and stuff. So the call this morning was with TEDM, Texas Department of Emergency Management. There wasn't anything really new there. Wildlife is Animal Health Commission. Livestock is Animal Health Commission. Your wildlife will be Texas Parks and Wildlife. So that go-to person for us here in the county is, of course, Warden Perez, our game warden, Mark Perez. Animal Health Commission and so forth. We have a representative. He came by and visited with the sheriff's office last week and stuff and whatnot. But contact county agent's office, contact my office or something. And the big thing here is reporting. Like, you're not the bad guy if you report. I mean, if you're the first person in Kinney County, I just need to stress that you're not the bad guy. The bad guy is the guy that doesn't report. Okay, so if we can get it, if we get it and we know that it's been confirmed, then the concentration and effort will be, they'll work on getting more of those ground release deals out for us. It's kind of a line, like, yesterday talking to Dr. Lansford, think of it as the river, so many miles in, they have a line in all of this zone here. In the zone right now they're looking at working on the most for fly release is basically from Eagle Pass to Amistad, right in there, because the traction of the movement of the fly. And then another line inside of that one, again, further into Texas, would be a capture line where they're putting traps out to trap flies to see as we're dispersing the sterile fly, are they moving around? And they have caught a few sterile flies that can identify them, the males and females, so they are catching a few here and there, so they know they're out there. They're in the area. But I went Friday to a meeting in Catula down there and so forth. Governor Abbott had a meeting Friday morning. He declared a disaster in January, but he declared a secondary deal that put emphasis on the Zavala and Uvalde counties for those current outbreak right there. But again, as of this morning, we'll pick up LaSalle County and now this Andrews County deal. The concern is maybe the flies maybe in a vehicle and they're coming back across the port of entry and not realizing, not identifying or something, and that may be moving the fly.
That was my question. How the heck did it get 200 miles from Brownsville to?
So, but right now in Texas, we are in the area of where the only confirmed cases are as far as being around the prior incident and stuff. So that's all I have. The facilities are supposed to be on fast track. The facility in Tampico, Mexico, is a fruit fly facility that Mexico had, and it was converted because this thing is considered a, what's the word, Brent?
Foreign disease.
Foreign disease. It's on foreign disease list, so it's like on a black list, a black label list of can't be in the United States, has to have a bio-3 grade facility kind of deal, very, very confined and everything. So that's modification. The U.S. We sent them $21 million to modify that facility. It's supposed to be done by the end of this month, but 100% production out of that facility is not supposed to be online until December. But hopefully by then this other facility has learned how to convert the female flies or make all male flies. Where in the 70s they said they need 700 million flies. Is what they used in the 70s to get it pushed back out, and get it pushed back down and keep pushing it back. The goal is to continually get it back, push back, and back down south to Panama and South America. And some people say, well, why is it the new world screwworm? Well, they consider that the old world, and this is the new world. It's basically the same fly and stuff and everything, but that's the terminology. There's nothing new about it. That's just the way the name it's been given for however long. So 700 million flies back then is what we needed. And if you did half of that, that's 350 million. And if we get these facilities going and we can produce between the 100 million in Panama, the 100 million at the other facility, and the 300 million in Edinburgh, Moore Airfield Base, that gives us 500 million flies. And if the technology there, where now we're producing all males, that's more male flies than we were in the 70s. But it's moving around. The frustrating part, I'm not gonna lie, the frustrating part is this fly across the Darien Gap in August of 2022. That was the northern boundary that USDA had set up to say, when it got past this line, we need to be paying attention or be more aggressive in pushing it back down. That was in August of 2022. Well, you do the math of where we are today. But in November of 2024 is when they started recording things and reporting with Mexico. As of late last week, Mexico had like close to 28,000 reported cases. Most of that was in dogs and cattle, with like 350 something cases in humans and 10 deaths in humans. But that's Mexico reported. So take that with a grain of salt. But as of right now, the animals that's been found in here, the cat, the 3 calves, and the dog. My understanding is they're all alive. They're going to be okay. Yeah, let's go through the treatment process and stuff and everything, but nothing yet about wildlife. Has not been confirmed yet with any wildlife or anything like that. Wildlife people are kind of on the outs because there is no medicated treatment, no medicated feed, nothing that they are allowing or approving, over the counter or with prescription stuff with a vet or whatever. For those people can try to do somewhat of preventive work for these hunting places and stuff. And when you get right down to it, this is a huge economic impact for our county. I mean, it's going to be. We need to be vigilant. We need to report. We need to cooperate, participate. And it's going to take a little bit of a learning curve, like learning about that 72-hour quarantine deal over the weekend. I've been to 9 meetings or whatever it is over the last 14 months about this. And that Saturday morning, I got a call from a rancher, and he said, "What's this 72-hour gun?" I've never heard that. Never heard that. So that's I kind of told Animal Health Commission, look, if you knew that was going to be the case, then start teaching us that like 6 months ago, so the producers would know that. So that if I do get it or I'm in a quarantine zone and stuff, this is going to be the process. Don't say, well, you're in a quarantine zone and all this other stuff. It just the frustration level with the producers and stuff is aggravating and so forth. Trying to stay on top of it. Know what I know. Donna got hemmed up at HEB on Saturday by a producer that had a very small cow herd, and those folks, their cow herd, their goat herd, their sheep herd, whatever, those small herds like it, those are their pets. So that, I mean, you kind of almost talking like somebody's like dog cat relationship when those people with the small herds. So I'm not saying I don't love mine, but I mean, I don't have mine. Mine don't all have names. I can't pet all of mine or something like that kind of deal. So those folks, but if somebody calls you or something like that, tell them to call me. I'll visit with them. So forth. We had a meeting last Thursday or Wednesday at 4:00 with Animal Health, a Zoom call. I invited Dr. Davis. I invited Mark Perez. Commissioners, the ones that could come, and Seth from the Kinney County Ranch Supply Deal, just to kind of be aware, to help keep people informed. But when there is a quarantine, if we do get a quarantine in our county, in some portion of our county or whatever, there'll be a different set of phone numbers for folks to call. It won't be what we have. I believe there's some handouts at your store. They're supposed to be. Okay. And the web page deal, again, I told them quit telling me to go to the web. There's information on the web. But if we do get a quarantine, there will be a different set of phone numbers for those folks that need animals inspected, to do the 72-hour deal. There'll be a different set of phone numbers to coordinate that with Animal Health Commission. The problem with that is, like, Hondo sales are on Monday, Pearsall sales on Wednesday, and Uvalde sales on Thursday. You're gonna have to watch the calendar and work to get on Animal Health Commission's list, a week or so out, and then try to time the 72-hour deal. And I would assume as soon as you get that 72-hour clearance, let's say it's on Wednesday, they're going to want you to move those cattle then. They're not going to want you to wait till Thursday morning to take them to the sale barn or something like that. The trouble is now you got a 3 or 4 day shrink on something where most of us pin it Wednesday afternoon, take it to the sale barn, pin them Thursday morning, cut our calves off or whatever, take it to the sale barn. So that stings a little there. But that's what it's gonna take for us to try to, they're saying we got it confined. It's a fly. Okay, it is a fly. How are you gonna confine it? The typical flight pattern for them is about 12 miles. They're daylight travelers. They don't travel much at night. So daylight travelers, if they travel, it's going to be somewhere 6 to 12 miles if they travel. I'm not saying every one of them's going to move 6 or 12 miles every day, but just winds or storms or whatever kind of deal moves them. But about 6 or 12 miles is about their movement. Now, something gets on a trailer and gets loaded, it can move 100 miles pretty quick kind of deal. So that's where the producers, our absentee ownership here in our county is very big and stuff. So the knowledge and knowing if they have it, if it's in a wildlife on them, we're, the ones of us that live here and have the cattle or whatever are out and about more so than our absentee folks here. You may see it or something. So pin drop it, so that if you see a wildlife or a deer or something, remember it's going to be a pretty good size open wound. The navel is the wet newborn navels or the prime deal. They need about 3 days to dry and get crusted over to seal that opening and stuff. So we're kind of blessed and cursed by the rain. And we're very fortunate to have the rain, but yet it creates wet ground, damp grass, things like that. And those calves are bedded down or ponds or whatever newborn stuff, and they're laying there and it just keeps that a little bit wet, a little bit longer and stuff. But if you can get your hands on them, okay, iodine, dipping that navel in iodine, that spot, get you a cup, just, if you can get your hands on them and put a little fly spray on them and stuff, that will help dry it quicker. That iodine will help dry it quicker and stuff. If you do have something, again, it's treatable. It is treatable. Death's not immediate kind of deal. It's treatable. Okay. So, but any questions or anything, holler at me. I'm trying to learn a lot about screwworm. Beans, I wasn't raised here. I'm of the age where I kind of should know about them, but I wasn't in the area at the time. A lot of y'all were. A lot of folks are. And y'all can remember how bad it was, how rough it was. And we just don't have the cowboys that we used to. We don't have the horses that we used to, and stuff. So it's going to take everybody kind of make a conscious effort about it. If you have a concern or something, and the sheriff's office, my office, the sheriff, they're more than willing if we do get a quarantine zone and we have to set up some livestock checkpoint stations on the roads and stuff. They're willing to help if animal health asks for it. Animal health, they don't immediately have to be there at every one of them, but if animal health is having trouble or asks for help, the sheriff's office, DPS, game wardens, all those folks have been advised that they may have to help with the traffic stuff on the movement of things. Anything else? All those in favor of item 4E, say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Item 4F this morning, discuss approved bills or disbursements applicable to Kinney County Detention Center. Consider and take action to amend operations management agreement with GEO Corrections and Detention LLC related to the County Detention Center to address the reconciliation of payments due and amendments to payment process, and consider retaining successor trustee or disbursement paying agent. I'll entertain I'm going to move that to executive session. So we'll discuss that in executive session. Correct, Mr. Bristow?
Correct.
Okay, we'll move that one to executive session. We'll come back to that. Item G is discuss and approve, disapprove, create a budget line item for the Texas Workforce Commission grant award under the Emergency Medical Response Service Staffing Program in the amount of $7,212 for EMT Basic should read EMT Basic training for 4 participants for the Kinney County Volunteer Fire Department. The period of performance for the grant will be July 1st, 2026 through January 31st, 2027. Ladies.
Good morning. Yeah, this is the grant that we accepted at the transport. So we just need to have a line item in the fire department's budget. That's all.
All right. Entertain a motion to approve that line, to create that line item in the firefighting department budget. So moved by Commissioner Ferret. Second by Commissioner Dotson. Any further discussion on 4G this morning? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item H is related to that one. This is to approve and accept the grant award from Texas A&M Fire Service. Oh, no, it's not. It's different. This is to approve and accept the grant award from Texas A&M Fire Service in the amount of $165,000 for a small fire truck. And this will be a reimbursable grant. What
Yes,
about
sir.
this one?
So we applied for this one about a year and a half ago and we were awarded last week. So we just need to accept. I did speak to Chief Garcia and he would like for us to go ahead and accept that. They have an idea of the truck that they would like to purchase, so
Okay.
that's in the works.
So moved by Commissioner Dotson, second by Commissioner Ferret. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. I is related to H. Discuss and approve, create a budget line item for the Texas A&M Fire Service grant in the amount of $165,000.
Again, just creating a line item for the fire department budget.
So moved by Commissioner Dotson, second by Commissioner Ferret. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Item J is the discussion only. This is the review and discuss Kinney County Baseball Park meeting June 2nd, 2026. Update on design and information from meeting. Hold on now, I got your email.
Yes, sir. And Commissioner Baird was at the meeting. There was a successful meeting. The design was not at 90% complete just because we did not have the results from the soil testing due to a delay because of the rain that we got that previous week.
They've completed it, they just don't have the results.
That is correct.
Of the soil testing,
Yes.
okay? The city was there to identify water and sewer and manhole locations. Turf, talk to us about the turf.
Yes, so if funding allows, we would like to go with that thermal blend.
Okay.
Kind of take some of the heat off, only if the funding allows it.
So the thermal blend, allows it to stay a little bit cooler. Somewhat like
Yes.
30 degrees, wasn't it?
It was 30
pretty good,
degrees,
yeah.
yes, cooler,
Pretty substantial.
yes.
Okay,
And they're going to open up a trench, dig a trench across 4th Street for drainage work. They will repair whatever needs to be repaired. And then we talked about additional drainage every 50 feet to keep that flowing and not have to do any maintenance later on in the years to come. So that will keep the drainage flowing. We installed that, what was it, 4-inch? A 4-inch pipe every 50 feet.
so you're saying this would be that 4-inch drain line then would be hooked to the under the field drainage system.
Correct.
Because underneath the field, I have like a pipeline system, drainage system.
It's almost like a leach line.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the
Yes.
leaching then would feed this line, which would go to the ditch. Yeah, would go to the
Storm.
ditch. Okay.
Do you remember what the electrical plug at the pitcher's mound was for? That we said no?
That was just in case they wanted to put like a pitching machine or something like that.
Okay,
That's why we said we just run extension cord.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So,
If
Nothing
it'd
to
be
that.
no mound, it'd be a portable mound.
mhm.
It'd be affordable.
Yeah.
It'd be flat, the whole field would be flat, and we'll just move the mound out there. Softball.
There's a lot of maintenance with putting a plug at the pitcher's
Oh,
mound
absolutely.
and it getting plugged.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mr. Samora, the mayor was there, and he works for Rio Grande Electric, and so he gave us an update on what is there as far as electrical loads. And so that they wanted a discussion on that to see what was going to be needed for the two fields. So he was there to share some of that information. We went with no press box. Isabel Rodriguez was there with the school district, and of course he visits lots of fields and does unplowing. Says press boxes are these days are not used. you know, people have a table out there, so we decided to go with just right behind the counter, just to have some electrical work, done, some plugs, and maybe, I don't know, I don't know if we discussed having a covered area or not.
That's what we had talked about before. If we do that netting, it'll be in the shade.
Understood, just to get some shade and maybe,
And you're saying the electricity would be on the backstop wall, like
yes,
having some sort of a
So
backstop
proper
wall.
plug in each dugout. then
and the dugouts as well,
One behind the home plate. Okay.
and then conduit to the scoreboards.
Okay.
Yes. Last day for Little League to use the field because of All Stars is June the 20th. So we talked about discussing with commissioners, maybe a date when we want to start, tearing the barn down and doing some demo work
Okay.
out there, all the way down to the dirt.
If it's not raining a whole bunch, road and bridge will be able to help quite a bit there, but if it's raining a whole lot, it's gonna delay our time of getting it, because demolition is our deal as we agreed to, so hopefully the road and bridge can start, so after June 20th.
We can begin working.
Okay,
We
So
can
do we
begin
have like an
working.
old pit site where we can, when they start excavating, he asked about a place for us to dump that dirt. Do we have
Yes.
a place where we can dump dirt?
Third,
okay. Now, is
Some-
dirt dumping to be reusable dirt if we
Well,
need it back?
it's on that survey too, but
Yes.
our excavation depth.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're waiting on that.
Some will be reused,
Yes.
but the excess, we have to do something.
Yeah.
We'll have to find a place to take that. We talked about what needs to be salvaged. They talked about the light poles being, not the light poles. There are some poles there that,
Yeah, he was talking about the light poles. If we wanted them,
and then Easy said, we have some new lights and they would like to,
they want to strip those. not
yes, and keep some of those because they're fairly new.
Yes,
So,
that be something we have to ask REA to come in and help us with, get a bucket truck and help them get them down.
looking for that.
yes. The limestone, we talked, you remembered somebody donating, but the limestone that's gonna build that wall. But after speaking to you, it was the Moody Foundation funding that we were going to use. And so it's on us to find the dimensions of those limestones. They said the bigger, the better.
Yes,
And so we'll work on that this week. If you know a place that we need to go and ask, and then they want to incorporate that into the plan, and they will come back on June the 25th and have a meeting with us with the design ready to go.
and the limestone stone stuff would just be across the north end up there,
Yes,
where we're cutting in, it's the street and
Can we
everything.
talk to Wiseman? Don't they get into some pretty good stuff up on that south end?
I can call, reach out to them, but I don't know if they cut any big stone, if they grind it all.
See some big blocks. but
Maybe
they got
they got them somewhere too.
Yeah, there's some big blocks outside.
where's that one?
Colorado and then all of like White Mines.
Okay.
There at the Nueces River, behind Bridge, that mine on the north side.
Would you like for us to contact them and see if?
Yeah, see if they'll have because I would imagine you're talking about something that's probably gonna be 4 feet long and probably 2 feet wide and probably 2 feet
He
tall.
even
You
said
talked like-
8 feet would be
Yeah.
ideal.
Longer the better.
Two
Two by
by eight.
4, 8 foot, whatever.
Yes,
Wow,
the bigger the better.
right. Because our intention is to try to build it to where it's a block or two above street level, so it kind of serves as a buffer for cars and kids on their bicycles won't just come flying off of there or something. Okay.
And probably spectators can sit.
Yeah, we might just have to start off with a wall, then eventually make it more like an outdoor theater sitting, but right now the wall may be all we can get done.
You feel like you'd almost be stronger if you stair stepped them anyway. You got straight wall.
Right.
It's gonna
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
they might just do as we go.
And we might do the stair step, and if that's the case, then we might just use plain cement blocks in the back. And then the
Mhm.
final visual that you would see would be some kind of.
The limestone.
Mhm.
All right.
And then the concession stand, we don't have a clear design on the concession stand. We'll talk about that probably at our June 25th meeting. Mark, do you remember anything else? Did I leave anything out?
I think so. I just know they're eager to get started with our demolition, so we won't be the holdup.
Right. But did you understand we were only responsible for the building on the demolition because they're going to take
They
care?
were gonna take all the fencing down.
Yeah, they're going to take care of everything else because they were asking us, what do you want us to do with? What do you want us to do with?
Right. But then, like on the dirt, that's why I was talking to Joe, because remember I did say we had those belly dumps, because he
Mhm.
mentioned if we had a way to haul the dirt. I said, "Yeah, okay, I could do.
And then on the backstop stuff and everything, the best we can get it down in sections. Mr. Fritter said he would get it over to the Kai's Field. He would take some of those that need to be replaced over there.
He did ask if, or I guess I asked, I said, can we get as many of the tubing things, and those tubings usually ain't worth it, because they get all stored when he pulls them, but.
And you're in a concrete curve.
Yeah,
This is-
Yeah.
yeah. So that's fine, I said, at least in there.
You may just have to cut the top off and at least have a little bit of pipe, but a 10 or 12 foot piece anyway. Okay.
Just leave it for something else.
All right.
So at our first July Commissioners Court meeting, we'll bring you a design.
Okay.
And the next meeting, we're supposed to have some cost estimates, correct?
Correct.
Understand that, right?
Yes.
Good.
Thank you for adding that. Any
Okay.
questions or any comments on the baseball part?
All right, that was discussion only. Next item is K, discussion only. Discussion of the amendment to the Office of the Governor Cybersecurity Grant 5458201 mitigation measures, changes to activities, move funds from OT line to purchase mitigation software, hardware, and consulting fees.
So we submitted that adjustment last week. And Chad Potts had gotten us some updated quotes on what he wanted to use that money for. And so we sent all that in to the Office of the Governor. We don't know how long it'll take for us to hear back from them on whether they will accept that adjustment or not. But it was certified and submitted last week. And so we're just kind of waiting right now.
Okay. Any questions or anything on the cybersecurity grant stuff? Remember now, the cybersecurity grant came about and also our TAC visit. Remember when TAC came and visited us and stuff and identified some things that we need to work on as far as software updates, but also security stuff and things like that. So we're trying to, kind of a win-win deal that we had that guideline kind of deal from TAC, low concern, and then it just went, so the further up to the line we can get for our TAC recommendation on items and stuff, the better off as far as will be satisfactory for them. Probably can't get it all done this time around, but we'll get a lot of their recommendations met through the using some funds from cybersecurity fund grants. All right. Item L this morning is discuss and possible action, review information on brick grant due July 23rd, 2026.
So the brick grant, it is due July the 23rd to the state, from the state of Texas to FEMA. FEMA does not award to local governments. In 2025, there was no funding, so they rolled it over to 2026. Our concern with that is that they will not accept projects in phases. So if we were to address the Creek project, it would have to be a complete project, and they only award $2 million. So what we would like to do is get ready for the next cycle, speak to the engineer, get with Mr. Barker and see if he can give us a complete project, must be shovel ready for $2 million. Because remember, our project was what,
Like 31 million.
30 million?
Yeah.
And so that's just for information only. We are not going to meet the deadline for us to get it to Tatum. That's over. This is for the state, but we would like to get ready for the next cycle by having a shovel-ready project with design cost not to exceed the 2 million.
Water.
Yeah, well, and two, we would have to say to Mr. Barker, this is the project we want to do. And if it does involve the dams,
But you're talking water development board or
water,
We talked about that they're going to have some funds, but
water development board will have some funding available, not just yet. It's rolling out. Right now, it's the water supply and infrastructure grant that is available for cities or municipalities.
potentially that, address the utility needs that will need to be altered in the channel.
Yes, sir. I mean, we could address those water
Just like
lines
all.
through that. Correct. And that would be through the city of. But I think what Candy's referring to is the Nueces River Authority and the dams and things like that, correct?
not Nueces River Authority, but the,
Under water. Soil conservation.
yes, the Soil Conservation District, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because in previously, when we visited with them about the dams, they let us know in quite clear terms that they are in control of those dams. And so if we want, so when we are looking at what project we want to do for the 2 million that we would apply for, we either need to include the conservation district in our plans to have them tell us these are things we could do with the dams, or we need to confine it to the creek area on this side of the dams. Because yeah, they told us in no certain terms that we can't, the county can't make decisions about the dams. That all comes from them. And so I guess just trying to figure out what project it is that we feel like we need to get done that would be in that $2 million range.
Would the county need to be in this brick or would the city need to be in this brick? Is it a 30% deal? 37.
It's 75-25.
75-25?
Candy and I did talk about that. It's totally up to y'all.
Yeah.
To me, for the $2 million deal, I would think the city needs to be, that they need to tackle that fee. Now, if it was a $5 or $6 million deal, we obviously know that they don't have the 25 or could help, to some degree. But on this, I would think, hey, the city ought to kind of look at this to say, and go, if it just went from Highway 90 up as far as we could.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then if those streets and stuff for Texas Water Development Board stuff, they could get those changed. And then if we ran across, came into a bigger funding, we could finish it then to the dams or something like that, or get it further along. But $2 million is, to me, it's a lot of money. But as far as construction work goes,
It's not.
It's
It's not going to go very far.
But I thought,
Yeah.
if the city just looked at, if we just took it from Highway 90 up to, just where like they could get it started, where people could see like, okay, this is going to help with getting it back to where it's just wanting to flow instead of, you know, when we clean it up,
Exactly.
get that
Yes, yes.
stuff. So
Could you get 2 million against the cleaning and the,
I think it, you know, it would get quite a bit of cleaning and some
At least grading
grading. Yeah.
to where it would
Yeah, I would think that.
flow, like you're saying, where it would just flow.
Yeah.
You know, if we get a big rain, we're not going to have all those potholes where that it just sits in different places.
I'm thinking the dirt from that area, we get on top of it.
That would be where if they did come in there, it really wouldn't be belly strippers, it'd be backhoes and steers, but if they graded it and needed somewhere for that dirt to go, that settlement, then we could take that settlement, put it along top of the dams, and that would satisfy soil conservation Corps of Engineers to help recover that on the erosion part they're talking. Help us with our erosion. Road and Bridge has been out there and done some work, done some mowing and brush control stuff. So they've worked on that and stuff. We'll get those all itemized and get that submitted to Soil Conservation District to ask for the refund, the reimbursement for those.
Mhm. And of course, the raising the height of the dams came from that $31 million estimate. And so I don't know if Soil and Water Conservation would want us to do that, but
Well,
that's a
the road
possibility.
still has been addressed by them. So
Okay.
you see in our inspections, every time we get erosion and brush, kind of the two big things that they're always, you know, you need to work on the erosion, you need to work on the erosion.
Okay. There you go. Yeah.
Put the dirt on the dam and then blade it and let it drift off and then try to seed it because, you know, if it comes something, we're going to lose it. I mean, it's just,
Right.
it's going to be a constant battle. But if we got something that's basically silt soil, it's got to be fertile enough to try to help us get
Yeah.
something going out there and stuff. But
Yeah.
there's really no action on us today. This is kind of informative deal, but to me, a $2 million project, I would hope that the city can grab a hold to do some good there and stuff. But that's a big if, big wish. But.
so we'll come back to you all with additional information once we talk to Mr. Barker, once we decide on a project. That way we are shovel ready, we have a cost estimate, we have all of that. For the Texas Water Development Board, Mr. Ward, just a reminder that our flood mitigation evaluations have been submitted. And so it's great.
Yes. Yes.
It's up there and hopefully when funding becomes available, they have our information, the evaluation.
So we're talking about just clarification, Rick Grant would be applicable to Oakland Street Highway 90 and not reaching out above to the channel to the dams. Spillways.
Yes, sir.
I think we can make
Or
that.
over here. North,
So
And then
south of Diamond.
the Water Development Board, is a grant specific for utility improvements or not.
The one that is available now, that is due
Yes.
in July.
That one
So
is.
we will be working on that for the city of Brackett.
That's to try to cure the leaks.
Yes, sir. Addressing water loss.
New meters.
And
Those kind of things.
Potentially, and I may have already asked this, but just for clarification, is it potentially usable for the relocation underneath the channel? Because there are utilities there now. I'm just asking.
I'm sure it would be, but I don't know that is exactly what the city has planned to ask for this water supply and infrastructure grant.
Maybe it might cover the, I guess you'd say, the changes to the utility system.
once we get work on it. Yes. Okay.
So specifically, talk about Rick Grant only for Oakland Street Highway.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
okay,
2 million.
what I handed them was your generator.
Yeah,
Just for
so
discussion only, generator, met with generators the other day. Again, I wasn't able to make it. I sent my trustworthy polo over there.
He's good.
This, your email that you sent the other day, that's what they have this.
Perfect. Yes, so we did have the update on the generator grant. We were
2 years.
surprised. Say that again?
2 years,
2 years left.
generators out, 23 to 25 weeks. Oh, no, that's
Weeks.
weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
It's about 6.5 months,
6
so we were
months.
surprised.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
that's not too bad. The automatic transfer switches are out about 12 to 14 weeks. Contractor is due to begin this week, so you'll see them out and about preparing sites and making sure the slabs are in place.
And this is all sites, the 2 for the
All
city, the
sites.
2 for Fort Clark HUD,
And the
and our 3
3.
for the county.
Yes,
Okay.
a total of 7.
Okay.
7 generators. And then we talked about payroll and how that works with Mr. Dirksen, his payroll applications on a monthly basis. And then we do all of the review of the payroll sheets and we interview the workers to make sure we have Davis Bacon on and being applied appropriately. They asked where they could store their material. And so Mr. Fuller was going to go show them a shed at the Peterson building, that a shed that has a lock. That is where they could keep their items. Once sites are ready and generators are in, it takes them about 3 hours for them to install a generator. That I thought that was interesting. And then we exchange numbers. So our contractor is Electrician Services out of the Valley. That's who we awarded the contract to. So
Okay, any questions on the? Now, they have not changed. This is still the closeout date for the generator still is November.
correct.
Right.
Correct.
August 1st, we will be asking for an extension. There's just no way we can get it done by November the 10th. We do have some other updates we would like to share.
All right,
So
any
the-
questions on generators? That's moving forward and stuff, so,
Mhm.
okay,
So we are fixing to submit an application on behalf of EMS from the Texas Health and Human Services for a generator for the EMS building. So Nick, are you still here? So Nick is interested in having a generator there. You want to tell us why, Nick?
So this one would be natural gas instead of what we have. It's diesel, just since we do have medications, we are there 24/7. We have a prolonged period power outage. One of the concerns you have with diesel is you're eventually going to run out of fuel. So natural gas, you already have the line right there. So it would be more sustainable for prolonged use if ever needed.
this grant's gonna be with who? The application?
Health and Human Services.
Texas Health and Human Services. We are asking for 78,000 approximately, and that'll take care of the generator and installation commissioning and all. That is due the day after tomorrow, so we want to go ahead and submit tomorrow. So that is just for your information. And then while Nick is here, we were talking about House Bill 3000 and the ambulance grant. And I know that we had the incorrect mail code on there, so our auditor gave us the correct
Okay,
mail code, which was 007. So Judge, you submitted that, and not sure, Ms. Becky, if you have heard anything or on that front. Okay, and that's the ambulance grant that we submitted back in January. So there's an update on that. Anything you want to say on that ambulance?
No, I'm just,
Okay.
fingers crossed we get it.
Yep.
If we don't get it this year, then next year we'll apply again.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Nick. Just for your information, street improvements within the city of Bracketville. So we will see a contractor. We are going to award a contract on the 23rd of June to improve some of the streets. City from West El Paso to Thomas from Ann to Beaumont, Veltman from Ann to Fort, and First Street from Ann to Sheep. And so you should see some machinery come in maybe beginning of July. So single audit for 2025 is due June the 30th at the end of this month. We are concerned again, like the generator grant, through TDM will be on hold. Funds will be placed on hold. So that just causes delay and issues with payroll and things like that. So just want you to be aware if you have any updates for us on that audit.
They,
We'd
an
appreciate it.
email from Mr. Vera, last Friday. They were planning to be here this week, but scheduling staff and stuff, they couldn't get here. They're coming next week to do on-site visits again and do, visits there. So I replied back to him, that'll be fine. He plans on working a meeting to meet with Commissioner Ward on Wednesday. Several of us will be out for the conference in San Antonio. I should be back Thursday, and I'll try to meet with him then on Thursday before they leave. But next week, they'll be here on site doing, I guess, office visit stuff.
Pulling records.
So, but that's what I have for that.
But it will not be done by the 30th of June, correct?
We asked him to be.
You did, okay.
We asked
Okay,
him,
great.
but we'll see.
Perfect. Any questions for us? Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Mhm.
All right, that'll conclude, action item and so forth. We do have that one item. We moved to executive session for legal counsel. That'll be item 4F. We'll go to executive session. Next will be approve and discuss Kinney County Commissioner Court previous minutes. You have 2 sets of minutes in front of you this morning, May 11th and May 26th. Thank you, ladies.
Got a lot of compliments on the 4-H club's use of the county pool. Pool, beautiful. Yeah. Heard from several of the kiddos, they really enjoyed it. Reading the minutes reminded me of that. It really looks nice.
Yes. Yes.
We've explained that
Okay.
there, we have received call on that. Is Mr. Rolo finding it easier to maintain the pool?
Yes. Yes, much easier. So that the repairs that were done last summer, right before the pool opened and everything, must have been the key, because all that must have just been just the plaster, that, I guess that's what it is. I don't, but how spider cracked it was, and spider web crack kind of style, and it was behind there. We just couldn't get.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just can't get enough chemicals to it. It just keeps growing underneath. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, ours is much better.
There are some residents that have been calling the office though about, they didn't think the pool was gonna be rented out to private parties. And so my ladies have been addressing that, as this wasn't really a private party, this was a county function for the county 4-H club. So you may catch a little bit of that out there, but that's what the court agreed to allow the Kinney County 4-H club to have their end of year party there, not a private party. If you're a club member, you can attend. Entertain a motion to approve May 11th and May 26th. Would you like to do both of them at the same time, or you want to do them individually?
Both.
Both at the same time. We have a motion to approve both sets of minutes, May 11th and May 26th, items 5A and 5B this morning by Commissioner Matavo, second by Commissioner Ward. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. All right, next up will be a request for departmental budget adjustments and reviews. This morning, item 6, and we took care of those adjustments and reviews, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that was addressed during the action items. Approve the bills and disbursements applicable to Kinney County Detention Center. There's none. There's none this morning for item 7. And then item 8 this morning is approve all claims and bills, including payroll for Kinney County budget 2025, 2026. You have those for you this morning to review. Dick, is Hinkley Medical something you got? Hinkley Medical.
Oh, yes.
The payment to New Essex River Authority, that's our annual deal to them. That's not part of that study deal we said no to.
No, it's not part of that study. It's
Okay.
something that-
Something.
It's been looked into that.
Okay.
Something that was approved years ago. These are my copy.
Is that what we have today?
What's that?
Is that the bills we have today right now?
Yes, sir. I think I left my two
Yeah,
copies
yeah,
here.
okay. Motion to pay the bills as presented by Commissioner Dotson, seconded by Commissioner Farrett. Okay.
It's definitely my thing.
Okay. All right, we have a motion to pay the bills as presented by Commissioner Dotson and Commissioner Farrett. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Please note that Commissioner Dotson and Commissioner Farrett abstained from the payment that they will be receiving in this payroll, or this payment, this bills and stuff on there too, each one for them. All right, any other items pertaining to county business at this time? Big thing right now is the screwworm. Also, working on SB3 sirens. We've started that process from the mandate from the state about the flood control, not flood control, but flood sirens. We're one of the 30 counties that were picked up into that, so we started that process. We've been in meetings with Mr. Pantel with Waterway and with Mr. Huey, our plan developer to help us locally and stuff. Also, we have 391 Commission. It's met twice in the last week or so, 10 days, and had 2 workshops working on our policy and stuff for our 391 Commission that's opposing the transmission line. I have a meeting Wednesday at 10 o'clock in 7 Out City Hall with the 391 Commission. It's an action meeting. So we'll have a few items on there to discuss and so forth. With the previous 2 times we met have all been workshops where we held a workshop in Uvalde and a workshop here in Uvalde. Uvalde here at Bracketville. That's this week. Next week, Monday through Thursday, several of us will be in San Antonio at the conference there, getting your hours for the training and stuff, continuing ed and so forth. But like I mentioned earlier, next week also, Coscus CPA, the single audit firm, outside audit firm, will be here back on in the county doing a site visit and so forth. Another follow up there. Don't really. We'll get started on demolition, I guess, here pretty quick. The maintenance facility, get Polos, move his items over and so forth to the Peterson building, to that farm and so forth. We'll start that demolition process. Don't know of anything else going on. There's lots going on, but that's kind of what the week's looking like right now. I do have a Middle Rio Grande meeting Thursday this week, maybe. We got,
Yes, sir.
yeah, we don't have county court this week.
Yes, sir.
We do?
Yes, sir.
Oh, we do.
11.
We do.
O'clock.
We have county court this week, so that'll be this week. District court's next week. And jury summons went out, so they may end up having a jury trial next week for district court. Budget meetings start
Week of the 22nd.
the week of the 22nd. Budget meetings start. So you can please attend those and work through and visit and discuss. I spoke with Ms. Gutierrez the other day. She's going to work on the budget with a 3% COLA. Hopefully, I don't know if we can pull that off, but hopefully we can, but we'll see. May not. We've been able to do it the last couple of years, I think 3 years, but we may not get that pulled off this year, but we'll see. We'll see what's not. But that's something that we're going to have a serious conversation on, is the budget going forward and so forth and stuff. Because of the projects that we have a generator, baseball field, Peterson building. Are the big 3 that's starting, that we know we're going to we need to get to the finish line and so forth. So we'll work on that. All right. Any other concerns or anything from the commissioners this morning or anything?
How about the agricultural road? You get enough
Yeah,
ice
okay.
delivered?
All right.
11 truck.
I drove it yesterday when I went to Eagle Pass and went that way. It is nowhere near what it was that the county had maintained it. It has been worked on a little bit, but it's not. But on Friday's special meeting and report that on Friday, that the sheriff asked for, and we talked about, Kendra Morgan had submitted a form from Rio Grande Electric asking about using the right of way to put poles down in a Acacia Lane. They need 3-phase power to the compressor. So I said, I had never really messed with that. So I asked Rio Grande Electric, sent 2 folks out. Brett, I'm going to talk to him before he leaves.
No, I'll catch up.
Okay. catch up with Dennis sometime today, please.
Okay.
So they came and talked, and the line comes across Briscoe Country and then hits Anacostia Lane, and it goes down. It's about a half a mile, 6/10 of a mile down, and then it goes down and it crosses back over into Anacostia. So they need to finish the pole line down to the curve, the first corner there, and then over to the compressor station. So they talked to us and visited about us, and we told them, rest assured that we're okay with this, but we're not signing this document. The motion was made and not signed and submitted till the road was accepted back subject to the road being acceptable back to the county. So we're going to leave it at that. And I made that Saturday. I sent an email to that Mr. Ferguson, the gentleman I've been talking to, and Herb's talked to him about, Kinder Morgan put up a bond, but that was to protect really the cement low water crossing.
Right.
So I sent it. Herb, I'll tell you, I didn't carbon copy you in the email, but I sent it to Mr. Ferguson, and I sent it also to Mr. Ward. Mr. Ward, because that's his precinct, and I said, hey, this was presented today. Rio Grande Electric Co-op had two employees come and visit with the commissioners. We understand, we're okay with it, but the motion that was passed to sign this agreement was subject to the road being accepted back to the county. So he has not replied. So yeah,
So it get damaged pretty good. But
oh man, they just heated out down to the hard pan. I mean, they just didn't they didn't do any care or maintenance to it really. They watered it a couple of times to help with the dust, but they just let it get everything we had put on it, or the county had put on it. It's basically just it's like this in between the poles. I mean, it is like, but I drove it yesterday. There's about I don't know. There's from that corner there going into the spike. Okay, back up. They put a new fence in there, but they didn't take down the old fence. So there's a new fence in there, and there's about a 4-foot gap right there. But obviously, they're going to want to stake and put poles right here, somewhere between the fence and the county road right there. But I took some notes and everything, so they're on my iPad. But there is a new fence, and it goes down. There's a set of double gates right there, and then it goes a little bit further. Then it goes, and then the new fence inside the old fence becomes the new fence on the road. So there's about probably a mile and a half of that. It probably has a new double fence inside of it and everything, and then it's back to the what we probably ought to do. I will just go take those dead trees out right there when you know where those 4 big dead trees are. See if we can't get those knocked out before they go through there putting poles in or something. Get that trimmed up a little bit. Go in there, knock them down, cut them down, or pick them up. And I can talk to Randy Method and see if he'll let us just run them down and put them inside the smike down there somewhere, and he can burn them later for us or something. I can talk to him, see if he'll let us do that. Just because there's 4. One tree fell. One tree fell. We had to go cut it up.
they on us, or they gonna be in that easement?
They're between us and they're on our easement. The fence is like over here, and the trees right. There's a little part. You go across the low water crossing, the concrete one. You go a little bit further, then it's just another little dip, and then that little dip on that west side.
If they're gonna be in the co-op, the co-op will take care of it.
They should, but they may, I don't know. But I thought, man, this might be a good time to go in there and go clean down. It'd have been awesome if we'd have been in there and got to clean the fence out before and get it all, because that would have helped us right there. We could have like walked that water a little bit further inside the fence and let it run rather than run on the road. But no, I did drive in Country Lane yesterday and stuff. So it's better than it was, but it's nothing like it was before they started. That's how.
I just saw your emails.
That's how. All right. Any other? All right. We're going to recess this meeting at 10:46 to go into executive session. Item M and N on today's agenda: personnel matters 551.074 and executive session consultation with attorney 551.071, 551.129. And then also please note that our PFC meeting is still in recess, right? You opened it too and then so the PFC meeting is still in recess.
Run.